Have you ever found yourself in the middle of a family argument, feeling your blood pressure rise, words you don't mean spilling out, and then instantly regretting it? That moment when you lose control, when anger takes over, and you lash out at the very people you love the most? It's a painful experience, leaving a trail of hurt and regret. You might ask, why do I keep losing my temper with my children, my partner, my parents? In this video, we will explore the transformative power of mindfulness in navigating family conflict. We'll delve into Buddhist wisdom that teaches us how to respond to tension with wisdom rather than reacting impulsively. You will learn 1. How to recognize the early signs of anger and emotional reactivity within yourself. 2. Practical mindfulness techniques to create a pause between trigger and response. 3. How to cultivate compassion and understanding, even in the heat of disagreement, transforming conflict into an opportunity for deeper connection. What's one family conflict that you wish you had handled differently? Share your experience in the comments below. But first, let us discover how a simple shift in awareness can change the entire dynamic of your family interactions. The anatomy of anger and reactivity. Anger often feels like an uncontrollable force, but in truth, it's a process. And understanding that process is the first step to reclaiming your power. From a Buddhist perspective, anger is not an external entity that possesses us, but a mental formation, a conditioned response that arises from certain causes and conditions. It often stems from a feeling of threat, injustice, or unmet expectations. In family conflicts, these triggers are abundant. A child's defiance, a partner's perceived criticism, or a parent's unsolicited advice can all ignite the flame of anger. When we are reactive, we are operating on autopilot, driven by ingrained habits and unexamined emotions. We often project our own unresolved issues onto others, turning minor disagreements into major battles. The Buddha taught that clinging to anger is like holding a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else. You are the one who gets burned. Recognizing the anatomy of anger means observing its subtle beginnings, the tightening in the chest, the quickening breath, the racing thoughts, before it escalates into an uncontrollable outburst. This awareness is the foundation of mindful response. It's easy to feel guilty or ashamed after an angry outburst, especially when directed at loved ones. This shame can perpetuate the cycle, making us more prone to future reactivity. However, understanding anger as a conditioned response, rather than a personal failing, allows for self-compassion. It's not about judging yourself for feeling angry, but about developing the wisdom to prevent anger from controlling your actions. This shift in perspective empowers you to observe your anger with curiosity, to understand its roots, and to choose a different path. It's a journey from being a victim of your emotions to becoming their mindful observer, capable of responding with intention rather than impulse. Consider Sarah, a mother who frequently found herself yelling at her children over minor infractions. She hated herself for it afterward, but felt powerless to stop. Through mindfulness practice, she began to notice the subtle tension in her jaw and shoulders, and the racing thoughts of they never listened that preceded her outbursts. She realized her anger often stemmed from her own exhaustion and feeling unheard. This awareness allowed her to pause, take a deep breath, and sometimes even walk away for a moment before responding, breaking the automatic cycle of yelling. This wasn't about suppressing anger, but about understanding it and choosing a more skillful response. What are your personal early warning signs of anger? Noticing them is your first step towards mindful response. Once we recognize these patterns, the next crucial step is to create a conscious pause, a space where wisdom can enter before reaction takes over. Creating the mindful pause, respond, don't react. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. This profound teaching, often attributed to Viktor Frankl, is at the heart of mindful conflict resolution. When faced with a challenging family interaction, our conditioned tendency is to react immediately, often from a place of fear, anger, or old wounds. The mindful pause is a deliberate act of creating space before responding. This can be as simple as taking 3 deep breaths, counting to 10, or mentally stepping back to observe the situation from a broader perspective. This pause allows the prefrontal cortex, the rational part of our brain, to engage. Rather than being hijacked by the amygdala, our emotional center. It enables us to choose a skillful response that aligns with our values, rather than being driven by impulse. From a Buddhist perspective, this is the practice of cultivating equanimity uppka, maintaining mental balance and peace amidst the fluctuations of life. It's about recognizing that while we cannot control the actions of others, we can always control our own response. Implementing the mindful pause can feel incredibly difficult at first, especially when emotions are running high. It requires discipline and a willingness to sit with discomfort. However, with consistent practice, it becomes a powerful tool for self-mastery. Imagine the relief of no longer being a slave to your emotions, of being able to choose peace over conflict, understanding over reactivity. This practice not only de-escalates immediate tensions, but also builds resilience and emotional intelligence over time. It transforms conflict from a destructive force into an opportunity for growth, for both yourself and your family. You become a model of calm and wisdom, teaching your children by example how to navigate life's inevitable challenges with grace. John and his teenage son Alex frequently clashed over Alex's screen time. John often reacted with frustration, leading to shouting matches. After learning about the mindful pause, John decided to try a new approach. The next time Alex pushed back on a screen time limit, John felt the familiar surge of anger. Instead of yelling, he took a deep breath, excused himself for a moment, and walked into the kitchen. He splashed cold water on his face and reminded himself of his intention to respond with wisdom. When he returned, he calmly stated his boundary and offered Alex a choice: either put the phone away or lose it for the rest of the day. Alex, surprised by his father's calm, chose to comply. This small act of mindful pausing transformed their interaction, preventing an escalation and fostering a more respectful dialogue. Practice the mindful pause today, before reacting to a challenging situation. Take 3 deep breaths and consciously choose your response. This ability to pause and choose our response is crucial. But it's only truly effective when coupled with the cultivation of compassion and understanding, even for those who trigger us most. Cultivating compassion and understanding in conflict. When we truly understand, we cannot help but act with compassion. Even in conflict, there is an opportunity for deeper connection. Buddhist teachings emphasize that true peace arises not from the absence of conflict, but from our ability to engage with it skillfully, rooted in compassion and understanding. This means actively seeking to understand the other person's perspective, even when it differs from our own. It involves listening with an open heart, trying to discern the underlying needs, fears, or pain that might be driving their behavior. Often, what appears as anger or defiance is a cry for connection, recognition, or safety. Practicing loving-kindness metta towards those we are in conflict with can be transformative. This doesn't mean condoning harmful behavior, but extending a wish for their well-being, recognizing their shared humanity. It's about seeing beyond the immediate issue to the deeper interconnectedness. This approach transforms conflict from a battle to be won into a problem to be solved together, fostering empathy and strengthening bonds. It's a radical act of love that disarms hostility and opens the door for genuine resolution. It can be incredibly challenging to extend compassion to someone who is actively upsetting us, especially within the intimate confines of family. Our ego often wants to be right, to win the argument, to prove our point. However, clinging to this need for victory only perpetuates suffering. When we choose compassion, we release the burden of needing to be right and open ourselves to the possibility of mutual understanding. This doesn't mean sacrificing our boundaries or allowing ourselves to be mistreated, but rather approaching the situation with a calm, clear mind and a compassionate heart. This practice cultivates inner peace even when external circumstances are turbulent, and models a powerful way of relating for our children, teaching them the true meaning of empathy and forgiveness. Maria and her teenage daughter, Chloe, were constantly arguing about Chloe's messy room. Maria felt disrespected and Chloe felt controlled. Maria, recalling the Buddhist teaching on compassion, decided to try a different approach. Instead of yelling, she sat down with Chloe and with genuine curiosity asked her why her room was so messy. Chloe, surprised by her mother's calm, confessed that she felt overwhelmed by schoolwork, and her room was the only place she felt she had control. Maria listened without interrupting, recognizing Chloe's underlying stress and need for autonomy. Instead of imposing a solution, she worked with Chloe to create a realistic plan for tidying up, offering help and understanding. This compassionate approach transformed their dynamic, moving from conflict to collaboration and strengthening their bond. In your next family disagreement, try to listen for the unspoken needs or fears behind the words. What do you discover? By integrating the mindful pause with genuine compassion, we gain the wisdom to transform every family tension into an opportunity for growth, leading to a profound emotional payoff. We began by acknowledging the pain and regret that often accompany family conflicts. The moments when anger takes over and we lose control. Through the wisdom of mindfulness and Buddhist principles, we've discovered that we are not powerless in the face of tension. We can learn to create a mindful pause, to respond with intention rather than react impulsively. We can cultivate compassion and understanding, transforming disagreements from battles into opportunities for deeper connection and growth. This journey empowers you to navigate the inevitable challenges of family life with grace, wisdom, and an open heart. You become a beacon of peace in your home, modeling emotional intelligence and resilience for your children, fostering a family environment built on respect, empathy, and genuine love. This is the ultimate gift, the ability to transform conflict into connection and tension into understanding. If you're ready to transform your family conflicts into opportunities for growth and deeper connection, then this wisdom is for you. In our next video, Healing the Inner Child Before Raising One, we will explore how our own childhood experiences and unhealed wounds can impact our parenting, and how Buddhist psychology offers powerful tools for healing ourselves so we can raise our children from a place of wholeness. Subscribe to the Noble Wisdom Path to continue this transformative journey with us. Share this video with anyone who struggles with family tension. And remember, the path to peace begins within. One mindful breath, one compassionate response at a time.